Hello everybody and welcome to Barca News. Today is May 27, 2020 and I have a lot of exciting summer transfer news for you. What's going to happen with Lewandowski, what's going to happen with Dembele, what's going to happen with Raphinha. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, my name is Mo and I started this channel so it can be a one-stop shop for all Barcelona fans where they can come and get the latest news regarding FC Barcelona. Whether it be transfer rumors, injury updates, match previews, post-match analysis, or anything in between, you will find it here. So I invite all of you to subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on all the news regarding our beloved club, FC Barcelona. So Barcelona's season has officially come to an end. I've actually made a video recapping the entire season and giving you my thoughts on why I believe it was a successful season. I will leave a link in the description, so I invite all of you to watch it and leave a comment telling me what you thought about Barcelona's season. Now, despite the season coming to an end, that does not mean that the news has stopped. That's the total opposite. Now that we're headed into the summer transfer window, there's a lot of news coming. There's a lot of rumors flying around about who's gonna stay, who's gonna leave, who's gonna be coming to the club. So I'm gonna try to distill all that news for you as best as possible so you can stay up to date on all the transfer news regarding Barcelona. So let's begin with the first news that Xavi Hernandez has officially met with all the players of the club and he's let them know on what he expects for the next season. He's told the players who are staying that they were going to be staying. He's told the other players who he will not be counting on to look for another club, to look for an exit. The players have also met at a restaurant earlier this week where they all had dinner with the coaching staff, and not only did they reflect on this past season, but they also, the players who are leaving, they all said their goodbyes to the coaching staff and to their fellow teammates. And finally, at the end of the match between Barcelona and the Australian All-Star team, that friendly match that happened in Sydney, Australia, we saw a lot of the players saying goodbye to the fans and taking pictures with them. So it looks like all the players of the club, they all know where they're standing. Those who are leaving know that they're leaving, and those who are staying know that they're staying. And based on the reports, I've pretty much separated all these players into three categories. The first category being the players who are 100% leaving as of today. The second category is those players who Xavi has told that he will not be counting on next season, but however they are still, to find an exit, or they are yet to leave. And finally, the last category is those players who Xavi is counting on, or they're key to the team, but however, given the dire situation of the club, if another team would come in, or another club would come and make a good offer, then the club might entertain their exit. The first category, the players who we know 100% sure they're leaving as of today, those are Luuk de Jong, who's on loan here at the club from Sevilla. Luuk de Jong arrived at Barcelona kind of as a reinforcement, kind of to cover that 9 position, kind of like a temporary solution for that goal deficit that we had. And now that the season has ended and there's no longer need for his services, it looks like Luuk de Jong will be heading back to his club Sevilla. And the other player is Adama Traoré, who's here on loan from Wolverhampton from the Premier League. This is one that I'm a little bit sad about because I'm a big fan of Adama Traoré. He is a player who came out through La Masia, who knows the Barcelona way, who has the Barcelona DNA. And when he first arrived in the winter transfer market, he made an immediate impact on the team, creating a lot of danger on that right wing, evading defenders, making very dangerous passes, center passes to the box. And unfortunately, because of Xavi's heavy reliance on Dembele towards the end of the season, we saw Adama Traoré's role slowly dissipate, and then towards the end of the season, he was barely getting any minutes. And to add to all of that, the Wolverhampton from the Premier League are asking for a 30 million euro transfer fee, and given the club's financial situation, unfortunately, that's not something that Barcelona contemplates on paying. If this was a different season, if the financial situation was better, then perhaps the club would have made that expense. But given our dire situation, it's just not something that the club is willing to do. The second category of players, those are the players that Xavi has told that he will not be counting on. and that they should look for an exit. I made this as a separate category because even though they won't be playing, and even though Xavi does not want them on the squad, these players still have to look for a club that's willing to take them. And of course, they also have to be willing to go to those clubs. So there's still going to be some searching to be done by Barcelona. There's still going to be some negotiation with the players and with these prospective clubs. So even though Xavi does not count on them, they are not 100% sure that they're leaving, because there's a lot that needs to happen before we can say that these players are 100% leaving. And these players are the Frenchman Clément Lenglet, Samuel Umtiti, the Brazilian goalkeeper Neto, the Danish striker Braithwaite, and Miralem Pjanic, who is currently on loan in Turkey. And last but not least, Riqui Puig, who has been a big disappointment, unfortunately. Riqui Puig is someone who came up through La Masia, through the Barcelona Academy, who has a lot of talent, a lot of skills. There was a lot of hype, a lot of expectation around him. He was supposed to be the next La Masia gem. He was supposed to be the next Barcelona star. But unfortunately, he just simply did not live up to the hype. And he did not live up to his high expectations. And what's sad about this is that he did not live up to the hype, not because of lack of talent, but more because of lack of discipline. There are a lot of reports of Riqui Puig constantly, being out and about in the Barcelona nightlife, partying till late, getting drunk, ignoring the club's orders and rules. So this is a very sad situation because, as Chad says in one of my favorite movies, A Bronx Tale, the saddest thing in his life is a wasted talent. And this is what seems to be happening with Riqui Puig. He has a lot of talent, but he's wasting it with his lack of discipline and his desire to party and to just do whatever he wants. So the club is looking to loan out Riqui Puig. Hopefully, if he can go somewhere else outside of Barcelona, maybe he can get his act together. If not, they're looking to sell him and maybe get some money off of him. But either way, this is a sad situation because I had a lot of hope for this player, and he's simply just someone who did not live up to the expectation. The third category is players who Xavi is counting on, who are key to the team, who Xavi wants to see remain in the team. But given the financial situation of the club, if another team would come and make a good offer, then Barcelona would entertain the idea. And those players are Frankie de Jong, Memphis Depay, and Serginho Dest. These are three exceptional players with a lot of skills, a lot of talent, who make a lot of contribution to the team. It would be very sad to see them leave, but unfortunately, because of the terrible financial situation that the past president Josep Maria Bartomeu left us with, unfortunately, we might have to see him leave, especially De Jong. He's a player who can they're valuing around 80 million euros. So if a team would come and make that offer, then Barcelona might be forced to sell him, not because they want to, not because Xavi does not count on, but because simply we need the money. So hopefully hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully these players can stay at the team, but only time will tell. Now, speaking of money, that brings me to our next news, and that is that Joan Laporta is currently trying to negotiate some deals, trying to close some deals to bring in some money, some cash infusion to the club. The first deal was, and I discussed this in my previous video, was the Spotify deal that's already been closed. That's going to bring around $310 million to the club over 4 years. Laporta is also trying to close other deals such as the CVC fund. This is a fund that will inject a lot of cash into La Liga, and also into La Liga teams in exchange for media rights. Initially, Barcelona had rejected the CVC fund offer, but now, given our situation, our financial situation, Joan Laporta is looking to negotiate a more favorable deal. He was hoping to close this deal around the end of this week, which today is Friday. But it looks like there's been some hiccups and some bumps, so it doesn't look like that deal is going to close this week. It might close next week. Who knows? Joan Laporta is also working on the sale of 49% of Barca Studios and on the sale of some of the Barcelona merchandise licensing in hope that he can bring more cash into the club. And the news is that Joan Laporta has said that if he cannot close those deals and he cannot bring that cash infusion into the club that the club needs for the summer transfer window, that he is going to have to implement some drastic measures. And those measures include the renegotiation of the contracts of the current players, payment deferment, which would mean not paying players this season but paying them later. And finally, if push comes to shove, the board of directors and Laporta are considering contract rescission. That will mean canceling the player's contract and just paying them the rescission fee instead of keeping them on for several seasons and paying them the salary. The two players that come to mind, those are Miralem Pjanic, who is on loan in Turkey right now, and Braithwaite. These are two players who Xabi has told that he will not be counting on next season. However, they've made statements in the media that they still want to remain at the club, that they want to see out their contracts, which they each have 2 years left. These are contracts that, of course, Josep Maria Bartomeu signed. They're very lucrative contracts, so it looks like these two players will rather sit on the bench and just collect millions rather than go and do their jobs, and which is play football. So if push comes to shove, it looks like Laporta is willing to rescind the contract of these players and just pay them the rescission fee rather than have them just sitting on the bench collecting millions. Hopefully it doesn't come to this. But the club is in a dire financial situation, and we need to bring in as much cash as possible so we can make moves in the summer transfer market. So this brings me to our biggest news, and that is that Barcelona has made a second offer for Robert Lewandowski, the Polish striker who's currently at Bayern Munich. As you might have already heard, Robert Lewandowski, after spending 7 seasons at the German club and after winning everything there is to win with Bayern Munich, he has decided that he wants to look for a new challenge, and that challenge seems to be here at Barcelona. He has told the club that he wants to leave to please, to make sure to facilitate that exit, because he technically does still have another year on his contract. But he is very excited to come to Barcelona. In fact, he's deleted everything that comes in regards to Bayern Munich from his social media, whether it's the profile picture, banners, links, etc. He's removed all of that from his social media, and he's made it very clear that he wants to come to Barcelona. He's not willing to hear any offers from Real Madrid, from PSG or Chelsea. Barcelona seems to be his one and only desire, which is very, very exciting. I'm a huge fan of Lewandowski. I think he is the best striker in the world at the current moment. He's the best 9 out there. He's a goal-scoring machine. He's just a beast overall, and I would love to see him in a Blaugrana jersey. I would love to see him scoring goals for Barcelona. So this is very exciting. And it looks like Barcelona first offer was denied immediately, rejected by the club. So Barcelona has made a second offer, which is around 40 million euros. This is an offer that was suggested by Lewandowski's agent, Penisavi. He told the club that if maybe they made a $40 million offer, that Bayern Munich is more likely to accept it. So Barcelona has made that offer. However, we have not heard a reply back from Bayern Munich. It looks like Bayern Munich is looking for a replacement for Robert Lewandowski before they can agree to anything. It looks like actually they're looking for a couple of players to replace Lewandowski, one of them being Sadio Mane from Liverpool. And of course, Bayern Munich is not going to hear anything back from Sadio Mane until he's done playing the Champions League final, which is tomorrow against Real Madrid. So it looks like this operation might take a few more days, maybe a few more weeks. Looks like Bayern Munich wants to secure replacements for Lewandowski before they can give Barcelona an answer. Either way, I am very optimistic that this deal will go through. I am very excited for the prospect of Lewandowski wearing a Blaugrana jersey and hopefully scoring goals for Barcelona next season. Now, speaking from a man who wants to come to Barcelona, we'll go to a man who doesn't want to stay, and that is Ousmane Dembele. He has officially told the club as of yesterday that he will not be accepting the renewal offer and that he will be leaving the club. It looks like he's going to PSG. I say to that, good riddance, Dembele. Your contract is up July 30th. I hope you leave today. I'm very sick of this guy. This is a player who has laughed in the face of the club from the day one he arrived. We paid 105 million euros for him. We paid him around 50 million euros a year, and he spent half of the time at the club injured. And when he wasn't injured, he didn't contribute too much. He didn't score much, didn't provide much assist. In fact, this season he's only scored 2 goals. This is a guy who spent more times partying out in Barcelona, staying up late, playing video games, eating junk food, getting drunk. And as a result, of course, we always saw him injured. So this is a player who has no discipline, who's laughed at the club from day one. He laughed in our faces again earlier this year when we were negotiating his renewal. He kept telling the club that he wanted to stay, but he would completely ignore the offers that the club were making him. He even made a ridiculous demand that he wanted 50 million euros a year in salary. I mean, this is insane. That's what Lionel Messi was getting paid. I mean, we're talking about Messi, the best player in the history of our club, the top scorer in the history of our club, the top assist provider in the history of the club, a player who's played the most matches in the history of the club, a player who's won the most trophies for the club. I mean, we're talking about an absolute legend. And this guy, Dembele, who's contributed absolutely nothing to the club, wants to earn the same amount. I mean, give me a break. I'm very glad this saga is over. I say to you, Dembele, again, good riddance. Please leave today and don't ever come back. We only want players who want to stay here, not those who just want to earn money and get rich. Now we'll talk about Samuel Umtiti. He is one of those disappointing stories where Barcelona first signed him. He was on his way to become one of the best defenders in the whole world. In fact, he won the World Cup with the French national team. But unfortunately, after he injured his knee, we saw nosedives in his performance. And he simply did not live up to the hype, and he spent most of the time injured on the bench. We saw that same injury just happening over and over again, and we saw his minutes getting dwindled, and pretty much for these past 2 or 3 seasons he hasn't played much. He's one of those players that the club has sold over and over again, that they were not going to count on him, that he should leave. But unfortunately, because he did have a lucrative contract, one of those terrible contracts that Josep Maria Bartomeu signed, where he was making close to 50 million euros a year, he simply chose to just stay on the bench and collect all that money instead of going somewhere else where he was going to get paid less and play football. Well, the good news is that Samuel Umtiti has finally agreed to leave the club. He's also agreed to reduce his salary requirement. This was a huge impediment in previous negotiations. You know, every season or every transfer window when Barcelona tried to sell Umtiti, his salary requirement was always a deal breaker. Other clubs were simply not willing to pay that much money for him, and of course he always chose to stay at Barcelona so he can keep earning that money. But he's finally come around and decided to do what footballers do, which is play football. So it looks like he is negotiating with other clubs. There are 4 Turkish clubs who are interested in him. So it looks like hopefully we will see Umtiti leave during the summer transfer window, and hopefully we can get some good money for him, given all the money that we've wasted on him all the season of him just being on the bench while collecting millions in salary. Now, speaking of selling players, it looks like Barcelona will be selling Ferran Jugla. He's the Barcelona B player who we saw play some matches with the senior team. He went back down to the Barcelona B to help them out because Barcelona B had a tough season where they were on the brink of relegation. So Ferran Jugla was called up back again to help out the team, and which he did tremendously. He was scoring goals left and right. He's a player with a lot of talent, a lot of skills, and a lot of promise. So this news is a little bittersweet. I would have loved to see Jugla with the senior team, at least during the preseason, to see if he fits. But however, because of the financial situation of the club, it looks like Barcelona has agreed to sell him, and they have reached a deal with the Belgian club, Club Brugge. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it looks like Club Brugge is willing to pay around 8 or 9 million euros for Ferran Jugla. So it's bittersweet because, again, I would have liked to see him play with the senior team, but also it's positive news because at least we're getting some money in the coffers during a dire time where we need every cent, every euro that we can get. And we will close out today's news with 2 more La Masia players. The first one is Alex Collado. As you might remember, Alex Collado was also a Barcelona B player. He was a huge La Masia success story. He was supposed to be the next gem out of La Masia, the next Barcelona star. Unfortunately, Koeman did not see it that way, so he discarded him completely. So Alex Collado was sent out on loan to Granada. but it looks like Alex Collado is coming back home. He spoke with Xavi, and Xavi has told him that he will count on him, that he wants to see him on the team, that he's gonna play the preseason with the senior team, and hopefully if Alex Collado lives up to the hype and plays as well as he was playing on Barcelona B, hopefully we'll see him stay throughout the season with the senior team, and hopefully we'll see him become the star that we always hope that he will be. The other La Masia player, that is Abde, the Moroccan player, the 20-year-old Moroccan player. Barcelona acquired him as a reinforcement for Barcelona B. However, he did so well that he was called up to the senior team, and we saw him play a few matches with the senior team during the season. But again, because of the Barcelona B situation, with being close to relegation, he was called back down to the Barcelona B, where he contributed a lot to the team, and he helped secure the Barcelona B's spot in the league. It looks like he will be getting promoted to the senior team. He will be playing the preseason with the senior team. He will also be getting a senior team jersey number. And if he does well, hopefully we'll see him also playing the next season with the senior team. So that concludes the news for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, please leave any comment about any of the news that you saw in the video today. Do you think it was a good news? Do you think it was bad news? Which players you would like to see leave? Which players you would like to see stay? Which players you would like Barcelona to go after? Please leave all the comments below. I will read them. We'll get a discussion going. And once again, I invite all of you to subscribe to my channel so you can stay current on all the news regarding FC Barcelona. Thank you again, and Visca Barça.